Hi again, everybody. Okay, in this video, let's take a look at the close of the season and a few personal notes on recent events in the NHL. Coming up. All right. Before I get into this video, guys, I just want to say a little word about Mike Bossy passing yesterday, and I tell you, I just want to touch on this. Mike Bossy, even though he wasn't a Buffalo Sabre, was still, I believe, the greatest goal scorer I ever seen. And I know today's fans think it's Ovechkin, and that's fine. Really is. It's fine. I'll always believe Mike Bossy was the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, and you guys know that. You've seen in my previous videos. I've discussed this before. That without a doubt, I think he was a runaway, not just the best. I think he's a runaway as the greatest natural goal scorer in NHL history. This guy, you just knew on a breakaway the goalie had no chance. You knew every time. You knew. And it wasn't just he had a slap shot or a wrist shot like Ovi has, let's say. And Ovi, I don't really consider him a natural goal scorer. I just don't. I think he's a great goal scorer, but a natural goal scorer, I don't see it as much. I really just don't. I think he's a great goal scorer. I think Ovi's the greatest power forward in NHL history. That's how I envision Ovechkin. I think he is absolutely the greatest power forward that ever played the game. And yeah, and I can compare him to the all-time greats power forwards, like Cam Neely might be up there to argue. You can argue Gordie Howe, but they didn't have the longevity of goals that this guy had in his career. Not like this. I mean, this Ovechkin's going to make a run at Gretzky, and to be honest, I don't think he's going to get it. That's just a gut feeling. I don't think he's going to get it. I know like 99% of you have written him that he's going to. I don't know about that. Nothing sure in life, nothing sure. So we'll see. But I'll tell you what, when he gets within 10, 15 goals, I'll be pulling for him to see it happen, put it that way. So, and I would have said against that months ago, but as life goes on and you see how we just lost a legend of Mike Bossy, life's too short not to want to see goals and, things accomplished and records broken. So I want to go into the schedule, okay, guys? I'm going to go into the schedule in a second. Now we got, after today's game, I'm going to show you a clip actually. Let me get on this for a second. But touching up on Mike Bossy, you guys probably seen the video where I told you I ran into him here at the local shopping center years ago. It was, I think, in the summer of 2006. And I talked to him, and I remember I went up to him and I shook his hand, and before I said anything, he just looked at me all strange. I could tell he was doing a chip inventory because he was big in the potato chip industry out here. And he was counting, and I said, "That's Mike Bossy." I recognized him right away. I was like, oh my God, I have to approach him. I can't just not. And this mall was quiet. There was nobody there. It was just a quiet time. It was around 5 in the evening, that night. So I went up to him and I talked to him. I shook his hand. He looked at me all strange, and I said, "You're absolutely the greatest goal scorer I ever seen in my entire life, and I think I will ever see." And he just exploded laughing, and he goes, "Thanks." But I think he thought at first I was some guy, a chip rival or something, he just had that look in his string. Well, what are you shaking my hand for? He's looking at me weird. And when I told him that, he was comfortable, and then we talked. And I remember, he had mentioned, I mentioned to him, I had a buddy that's an Islanders fan that loved the Islanders since he's a kid. And he just exploded laughing, saying that's not a good thing, because the Islanders were in disarray at the time. So he had that kind of sense of humor, But anyway, on that note, I just want to, I guess, put out thoughts to his family, his loved ones. And that's really about where I'll go with that, because it's, life's just short, guys. It's just short. All right, jumping on this after my 5-minute rant on Mike Bossy, but that hit me. That hit home yesterday. God. We lost Clark Gillies, Mike Bossy, René Robert as of recently too. It's just, God. So life is short, guys. Life is short, but we trust in the eternal promise the way I see it. Okay, let's look at the next 5 games. We know today's game. Let's look at the next 5. I'm going to show you a clip. Here we go. Now, there you see it, all right? So we got tomorrow, 5 p.m. at Philadelphia. Then we have Thursday at New Jersey. Then we're at home against the Islanders on Saturday. That's this week after today. That's the games this week. Then we have 4 full days off, okay? Really, in reality, we have 5 of the last 6 days off before we play Boston. We're going to be well rested for Boston and ready. And we close out the season that Friday in Buffalo against Chicago. So looking at it, you know, in those 5 games, after today's game, of course. In those 5 games, guys, after today's game, we got 6 games left officially, right, with today's game. So in the 6 games, I'm going to show you some things. These are just things I came up with that, little goals I want to see the Sabres accomplish that can still be achieved. So let's take a look at, I'll just put them out there. They're not in any numeral order, so I'm just going to put out the goals. All right, let's look at Tage Thompson and Jeff Skinner, okay? Now, currently they're at 33 and 31 goals. Tage has 33, Skinner has 31. I like to see them both finish with 35. I think that's realistic. Tage just needs 2. Skinner can get on a bit of a roll, get 4 in his last 6. Very possible, right? This isn't the Skinner from the last few years. This is the real Jeff Skinner that showed up this year. So 35 goals for Thompson and Skinner. I'd like to see that. Next goal, Okposo and Olofsson. Okposo has 19 goals. Olofsson has 18 goals. I'd like to see them both hit 20. And I think the way Olofsson's going, he will. But nothing's for sure. If he hurts his wrist today or something. I would like to see these guys both finish with 20 goals, especially Okposo. Because Okposo, you know, let's face it, has really came through this year for us. He really did. Wasn't like a Hall of Fame year or nothing, but my goodness, you know? So Okposo and Olofsson to hit 20 would be nice. That's what I'm hoping right there. And last is Dahlin. Dahlin has 46 points. I'd like to see him hit 50. I'd like to see Dahlin get a 50-point season in, because for me, that is absolutely possible with him right now. 4 points in his last 6 games, very possible. These are achievable goals that I think we can hit. Personal goals, you know, for the boys that are trying to get numbers in while they're winning. Now on team concept, okay, to catch Detroit. I'd like to catch Detroit. I figure we got to win 5 of our last 6 to do it. I do. I think we're going to have to win that many. I was looking at their schedule, our schedule. Right now, I do believe, let me just check something, guys, that they have a game in hand, right? Here we go. Sorry, they have 2 games in hand or 3 points in front of us. As much as that sounds awful, if we win 5 of our last 6, we finish with 75 points. And they would have to play basically 500 hockey to beat us out. Okay, they would have to play 500 hockey. But in their last 8 games, only 2 were at home. So they played 32, 39, sorry, 2 were at home. No, 39. Yeah, they have 2 at home, 6 on the road. I looked at all this, so I'm trying to piece it together. They're 3-4-3 their last 10. For them to play 500 hockey is going to be a struggle down the stretch. For us, it won't be. So we're going to gain ground on Detroit by the time this is all said and done this year, I believe. But if we can get hot the rest of the year, win 5 out of 6, the Sabres can get it done. And I'd like to see that, guys. I would. And of course, the number one thing I want to see is 30 wins. You know, before the season started, I projected to be 74 to 77 points this year. I believe that was the number I came up with, and a lot of people thought I was insane. You join the list, guys. There's a lot of people that do. So I figured they could get about 74 to 77 point season and surprise the league this year. That's what I was shooting for. Of course, I was shooting for a playoff spot before that. I mean, but we talked about it, and I thought realistically they would finish in front of 3 teams in front of our division and finish 74 to 77 points. So if the Sabres ever close out the season hot and win 5 out of 6, that will actually look like a pretty good call, because that means we'll finish with 75 points and we will finish in front of 3 teams in our division, which is exactly what I was projecting before the year. What I didn't see coming was, I don't know, the big wins. I didn't see that coming. I didn't see, you know, like just the memories, like, you know, like the thick memories that came into the season into play. That's what I didn't see coming. The improvement I seen coming, I really did. I just seen it. I seen it last year when Granato took over the team. You could tell there was a different wave going on. You could tell. You know, and a lot of people gave up before the year. It's not my style. It's just not. I just can't. You know, there's a thing in life I call that I believe in, that's called destiny. You know, and I believe that eventually things were destined to change in Buffalo. And I think we started seeing the shift of it this year, big time. Next year, it's up in the air how good we're going to be, but I think we're going to be a lot better, guys. I really do. I think the Sabres are going to be a lot better. I don't think I'm talking smoke here. I believe what I'm saying. I think next year we're looking at a team with points in the 90s, potentially a 100-point season even, that good. I think things are going to really take a turn for the good next year. So we'll leave that to the end of the year and leave this video there. So thanks for listening to my thoughts on Mike Bossy. It meant a lot. His career meant a lot to me, even though he wasn't a Sabre. It did. You know, one thing I've learned in life, guys, is, you know, when it comes to we need our heroes in life. We just do. And, you know, this is why when we lost René Robert, and, you know, I can imagine what the Islander fans are going through today, because this is a hero in New York. This is 4 straight Stanley Cups. God, if you look at his playoff in those 4 cups, good Lord, was he amazing. What an amazing hockey player. So there's a thing I'd recommend if you guys want to check this online. I'd really recommend it, okay? It was called A Letter to My Younger Self by Mike Bossy. Maybe I'll find you know what, I'm going to put it in down below in the comments. I'm going to put it down below. I'd really recommend reading it. It was really touching. It was really informative. And it lets us just know just life on life's terms. You know, it was really, really nice to read. It was a very nice read. And it's something I'm glad I read this morning when I read it. You know, it's just brought back a lot of memories also. All right, guys, lights out for this one. I'll see you tonight. Go Sabres, please. We need to get something in the W department, so let's win this one, and let's not take these guys lightly. Let's go at them hard. See you tonight, guys.